If you would not be forgotten as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. Benjamin Franklin. Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Hello everybody, this is Lee Wright again, and today I'll be going through the work in progress tag. I've just been itching to tell you about my story. Question number 1 is, what is the working title of your book? And it is called A Contest with the Night. And I know that might sound a little bit old-fashioned, but I went through so many different titles and I just felt like that was the one I needed. That was the one that went with all of the themes in my story the best. Question number 2 is, where did the idea for this book come from? It's been developing for years. I've always been fascinated with the Revolutionary period, you know, muskets and naval warships and all that stuff. And I've also had these characters in my head for a long time. I think in one of my other videos I talked about how my very first work, even though I wrote it when I was really young, I still like to reuse a lot of the themes from it. And especially the few of the characters have grown and developed over time, almost to where they feel like they're completely different people that, you know, live in my life for real. And I've been just wanting to put these characters in their own story, and more than a few of them cropped up, and it just pretty much, they all meshed together, and they were like just begging me to tell their story, and so that's what I did with this book. Question number 3, what genre does your book fall under? And that would be historical fantasy, I think is the best way to put it. It's not historical fiction because I do have magical elements, but it's not full-on fantasy because it does take place in our world, you know, back in history. Question number 4 is, which actors would you choose to play in a movie rendition of your book? And a lot of my beta readers suggested that if they were envisioning Eleanor Tomlinson playing the leading lady in it. I personally would love to have Andy Serkis play one of the characters that, if it were to be a film, you know, in Dreamland, the character would have to be CGI. And then I've always really appreciated the acting of David Thewlis, and I think he would be great for one of the other main characters, a butler who serves the leading lady. I can't think of anybody to play the villain, and of course there's a lot more other characters, but those are the big 3 that now that, again, in Dream World, it would just be really cool for them to portray my characters. Question number 5 is, what is a 1-sentence synopsis of your book? And I had to think about this one for a little bit of a challenge there, but I've written down a sentence here. I have, a young and hopeful woman in 1700s Europe leads a courageous insurrection of peasants against a government that has used black magic to suppress and secure its people. And I wish I could go on, but maybe I'll stop. I won't break the rules of this question, and we'll move on to the next one. Question number 6 is, will you be self-published or traditionally published? And I will be traditionally published with The Contest with the Night. Question number 7 is, how long did it take for you to do the first draft of your book? It took me about 7 months to write the book. It feels like much longer, but and I guess it is because I've had, again, those characters as concepts in my mind for years and years. But as far as putting the first word down in the Word document to the finish of the first draft, that took about 7 months. Well, that took about 6 months, and then I was just really inspired, which is a rare thing for, you know, second and third drafts to want to go through it. But I really was. I wanted to finish it, so I did all the other editing in about a month. Question number 8 is, what other books would you compare this story to? And it took me a while to think of some stories that to compare it to. I don't actually notice a lot of books that are written back in this historical period. I guess you could say one of my favorites, With Lee in Virginia, written by G.A. Henty. Another really old book, To Have and to Hold, is an adventure story about the colonial area, in particular the settlement of Jamestown. And there might be a little bit of, you know, All Quiet on the Western Front in there, as far as, you know, kind of no-holds-barred exploration of some of the wartime themes. Number 9, who or what inspired you to write this book? And I've touched on this a couple of times already. My writing journey has given me hundreds of little ideas, and they all, you know, banded together in the form of several characters that originally came from that first book I ever wrote. I really have been inspired by the themes of hope and courage, love, and versus security and complacency. And those are the big themes of the book, and those are what these characters in my mind have gravitated to. Question number 10 is, what else about your book might pique your reader's interest? And I think, again, it would be those numerous moral conflicts. The more I think about it, it is a lot like All Quiet on the Western Front, where these great tribulations that the character is going through are used to put a catalyst on the moral dilemmas that are in their lives. Also, again, there's that theme of the 1700s combat, which I don't see in a lot of books, and I personally find it very entertaining. So if that piques your interest, I hope you go ahead and give it a read. Well, that about wraps it up. If you'd like to know anything more about my story, please go ahead and leave a question in the comments down below. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a like or a dislike if you need to, and subscribe. And always remember, God is good all the time, and I hope you guys have a good day or evening wherever you are. Bye-bye.